Hey guys, it's Miss STEM Tutor here. Today we're going to talk about how to write Java programs that will print pound signs with the even numbers on the diagonal. So this is a pattern. Let's take a look to see if you can notice anything. So first, we see that there are 6 columns, all right? And there are 6 rows. Perfect. Now we see that there's like a diagonal of numbers. Let's take a look at the location, right? So it seems like every time you are on row 1 or column 1, you get 2. Row 2, column 2. Row 3, column 3. Row 4, column 4. Row 5, column 5. And row 6, column 6. So you can notice that every time the number of row is equal to the number of column, you have a number. Okay, so cool. But now let's look at what type of number is this, right? They are all even numbers. And it says 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. How can we put this into code? Let's think about it. All right. So you can kind of notice that when you're on row 1, you have 2. When you're on row 2, you have 4. When you're on row 3, you have 6. So what you can notice is that the row number multiplied by 2, it's going to be the number in the diagonal. All right, so cool. We have kind of noticed what's going on here. Every time you have the same row as column, you get a number. And this even number is the row multiplied by 2. Fair enough. Let's put this into code. So obviously you have public class and you declare public class, public static void main string args. Okay, now let's start with some for loops. So we talk about row first, right? When row is 1, rows less than or equal to 6, row increments. That ensures that you have 6 rows. So now let's nest another for loop here with column. So from 1 to 6 as well. So for int column equal 1, column less than or equal to 6, column increments. All right. What you can notice here is that when it says row less than or equal to 6 and column less than or equal to 6, you can also write it as row less than 7 and column less than 7. Because it's the same thing, right? Less than or equal to 6, less than 7. All right. Next, we're gonna take a look at how to put these numbers inside the code. Okay. So if column is equal to row, like we said, you're gonna print out %d, which is an integer, right? And how are we gonna write this integer? This integer is the row multiplied by 2. So here you have it. Then what about anytime that column is not equal to row? Well, then you're going to have to print a pound sign, right? So you're going to say else system.out.print pound. Okay, so that's perfect. And last thing you're going to add is just system.out.print /n, /n. And what does this mean? It means that you're just going to go to a new line. So it's actually pretty simple. For this type of question, you just got to make sure that you notice the pattern and look at the number of rows, number of column, and look at what is going on. So here we see numbers on the diagonal, but what type of numbers are these? What location are they at, right? Then you can just use for loop to start the row and column, increment it, right? Have the right dimensions. Then you're going to use if else to talk about the specific numbers and designate value. Just for fun, let's look at the same question, but this time the diagonal is going from the right corner to the right top corner to the left bottom corner. Okay, so try this on yourself. Let's see if you remember from the previous example how to set this up. First, we're going to look at rows and columns. Again, you have 6 columns and 6 rows. Cool. So now where is the diagonal? It seems like the diagonal, there's a number on when it's row 1, column 6, row 2, column 5, row 3, column 4, row 4, column 3, row 5, column 2, and row 6, column 1. All right, so what do you notice here? It seems like every time that you have a number, the row added to the column is always 7. Like 1 plus 6 for number 2 is 7. For number 4, 2 plus 5 is 7 as well. So it seems like that you have a number every time that your row number and your column number add up to 7. Cool. Now let's take a look at what type of numbers these are, right? Okay, they're clearly even numbers. All right, So it's actually the same as last time. On row 1, you have 2. On row 2, you have 4. Row 3, 6. So every time that you have a row, you multiply it by 2 to get the number. All right, let's look at the code. So public class, start with that, and then public static void main string args. All right, now let's start with the for loops to talk about the row and column. Try to write this if you can yourself. And remember, there's 2 ways, right? First, you have the for, and you initialize a row to 1, and every time the row is less than or equal to 6, you're going to increment, right? No problem. And you have column now. Every time that you're 1 and you're less than 7, you increment column. Like we talked about before, right? You can write it as less than or equal to 6 or less than 7. Because if you say it's less than 7, it stops at 6 because 7 equal to 7 and 7 is not less than 7, right? So it's the same thing. Now we're going to look at the numbers. All right, so every time, like we talked about, your column and your row add up to 7, you're going to print out an integer, %d. All right, so what is this %d? This %d is going to be 2 multiplied by the row number, right? You have 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, right? Perfect. And then now, what about the pound signs, right? So anytime that this is not the case, else you're just going to print out a pound sign. Easy enough, right? All right, and lastly, you're just going to say system.out.print /n, right? What does that mean? Is you just go to a new line, all right? You exit the loop and you go to a new line. So this is actually really simple. For this type of question, you want to focus on the row, the column, all right? Okay, so, and then you take a look at what is special about this. For this one, you see a diagonal. And all right, so what about the locations of these numbers? Next, what type of numbers are these? Even, odd, and like what do they have to do with the row and column, which is what's going to happen most of the time. So this is how you approach this type of pound signs and even number questions. All right, I will have more pattern videos to be uploaded soon. Make sure you subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell for more. Bye. See you next time.